And good morning. Welcome to the RSJ tutorials. This time around, we're going to talk about how to set up a multi-track in Adobe Audition using the Rodecaster, which you'll find in Audio Suite 1, 2, and 3. Let's get to it. So the first thing you're going to want to do is open up Adobe Audition, and this is what it'll look like. It's kind of a blank slate. And how it should be set up is you just click on multi-track, title your working project here. And I always recommend it's best to save your work to the desktop. That way you can find it easier when you're done with your recording. And ideally, you want to choose the RSJ Multitrack template. That way everything's going to be armed and you don't have to do any work ahead of time. Hit OK. And what populates is a number of tracks. All of them are mapped to the individual mics for the Rodecaster, as well as a main mix, which is going to be all of the tracks onto one track. So mic 1, 2, 3, and 4. Input, which is the audio jack on the back of the Rodecaster, a good way to bring in Zoom audio, as well as a Bluetooth connection, which you can use for a phone. And then you have the sound pads. Now, that is all of the tracks mapped and identified in Audition to the Rodecaster. But in order for them to record properly, you need to have them armed. And the way to indicate that they're armed is this red square that has an R in it. If it's not clicked, if it's not red, it's not armed, meaning you're not going to be able to record. So you can see when it's armed, there's the bars here bouncing, kind of peaking right there in the yellow. But when I unclick it, the sound bars go away and it's not recording. So you want to make sure that that red square is clicked and that your mics are armed. Now, what if you open Audition and that template doesn't work and none of this is here? Go into Adobe Audition, Settings, and Audio Hardware. Now in here, chances are this Rodecaster Pro multi-channel as the system default for the default input is not selected. You want to make sure that the Rodecaster Pro multi-channel is the selection for the default input. Once you do that, you'll be able to identify each of the tracks. So go ahead and hit OK. Start a multi-track, and I'm now going to walk you through how to set up each individual track, map it, arm it, and get it ready for a multi-track podcast recording. So here now we have 6 tracks and a mix, and none of them are armed, nothing's happening. First thing you're going to want to do is double check that your audio hardware settings is set to multi-channel, which it is. This arrow pointing to the right is your input, and you're going to want to go, track 1 is going to be your main mix. So for that, you go stereo, multi-channel left, and that's going to get everything. And then you click arm, and now it's armed. You can see the mic levels are bouncing because I'm talking. And now we're going to move on down the line. Track 2 is going to become mic 1. However, that's a mono input, so you want to go to mono, mic 1, and then I'm going to arm it. And now I'm currently on mic 1, so you can see it going. Track 2, mono, mic 2. Sorry, track 3, and then arm it. Track 4 is going to be mono, mic 3, and then I'm going to arm it. Track 5 is going to be mono, mic 4, and then I'm going to arm it. And then track 6 is going to be mono, and then I'm going to, actually this one's going to be a stereo track, and it's going to be the USB left. And now we're at the end of our tracks, and we've armed 5 inputs. However, we're missing a few tracks, so let's go ahead and add them. So to add a new track, you go to multi-track, tracks, add stereo track, and that's going to add one at the bottom. Alternatively, you can right-click, go to track, add stereo track. So now we have track 7 and track 8. So let's make the input for track 7 a stereo input and go Bluetooth left. And now that's going to be the Bluetooth channel that you find on the Rodecaster. And then for this last track, track 8, we're going to go stereo sounds. And so that's all the sound pads, just like that. Now, the cool thing to do to customize this a little bit more is you can go ahead and label each track so that you know your workflow, that which track is which. For the template that we have built in, the name's already built in, so you don't have to worry about it. One further step you can do to customize it is, say, you know, you're going to be the host on mic 1, and your guest, John Doe, is going to be on mic 2 and mic 3. When you export these files, they're going to carry that name over to the file name. So it's a good way to build a post workflow into your entire workflow so that you know which tracks are being edited. Now that everything's armed and ready to go, let's arm these last 2 tracks. Now you can start recording. And with that, Adobe Audition is set to go, and you are on your way to recording a great podcast.